Hello everyone, I do apologize about my camera not working recently. It broke and I'm trying to get a new one, so you're gonna have to deal with my in-game character, but he looks just like me, so no worries there. But yeah, today's video will be the Clown Solo Raid Guide. I do hope this video is useful to you. If it is, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. With that out of the way, let's jump right into the guide. Before we get into the guide itself, I want to remind everyone that every character in your roster will now be able to equip 5 engravings for free. This is permanent for the entirety of Tier 3. This is great for those that want to play alt characters that were not properly built in the past. Just make sure you obtain some accessories that have the correct combat stat for the build you are playing. You can head on over to lostar.nexus website for class build guides to make sure your character is built properly. The Solo Mode Raid Shop gives a variety of goodies. Every week from the shop, you can buy honing books and honing materials, in addition to level 6 and level 7 gems that do not expire and cost no silver to reroll. If you are a returning player, you should already have some of this currency if you completed raids in the past. When you enter a raid solo, the game will allow you to select a special buff that lasts throughout the fight. This buff can be changed once you restart the raid or in between gate 1, 2, etc. I recommend that you do not select any buff at all, especially if you're playing a back attack character. In this solo raid guide, I am only going to go over major gimmicks and mechanics. If you want to know what the group mode version of this raid is like, check the video description below. The battle items you will bring along will be Whirlwind Grenade and Panacea. If you are lacking damage, you can replace Whirlwind Grenade with Dark Grenade or Panacea with Atropine. In Gate 1, there is a meter gimmick that is similar to the previous raid Vicus. Getting hit by certain attacks will fill up your meter. When it fills up above the white line, the meter will turn red. If it fills up entirely, you will turn into a clown. When you turn into a clown, you will have access to 3 abilities. For the purpose of solo mode, the only one that will be useful is the first ability. This ability is a bomb that will decrease the defense of the target you throw it at. In addition, every time you turn into a clown, the boss will gain a buff that decreases the damage he takes by 3% per stack. You will need to manage your meter while also dealing damage to the boss. Some attacks have a fire attribute that will apply a fire debuff to you for a few seconds, which does moderate damage. You can use Panacea to remove this debuff or use a Purify rune on one of your skills. There will also be a card above your head. This card will be used for a few mechanics which I will discuss later on. The first major mechanic happens at 130 HP lines or below. The boss will show a stagger bar and a purple shield from his front, back, or front and back. This purple shield is a reflex shield, meaning whatever damage you deal to the shield will reflect back to you. If the shield is at his front, you want to move to his back and deal stagger damage. If the shield is at his back, you will move to the front. If the shield is on his front and back, you will deal stagger on his side. Use Whirlwind Grenade if you have trouble completing a stagger check. The next major mechanic happens at 110 HP lines or below. A dialog box will be shown and the map will darken. 4 clones of the boss will spawn at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock, or top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right of the map. The goal of this mechanic is to find the real clone. Every clone will show a heart or fingers. If 3 clones show a heart, you need to look at the clone that showed fingers. If 3 clones show fingers, you need to look at the clone that showed a heart. In addition, if the clone has small stars around him, that means it will be fingers. If the clone has small hearts around him, he is going to show a heart. The initial animation of this clone happens pretty fast, so here is the best way to solve this mechanic. Start from the top left and see if the clone is showing stars. If so, rotate clockwise and look at the next clone. If you see 2 clones that have stars around them or showed fingers, then you will look at the clone that showed a heart or has small hearts around it. The opposite also applies. You have roughly 9 seconds to find the right clone. If you fail, you will not die, but you will be feared for a few seconds. The next major mechanic happens at 85 HP lines or below. The boss will turn you into a clown, and you will see 4 icons on the ground. Go to the icon that matches the card above your head. This mechanic is basically Simon Says. If the boss is looking in your direction, you will perform the same dance animation as the boss by using the new abilities on your action bar. If the boss looks away from you, you need to perform any dance animation that is not what the boss is doing. If you fail, you will take moderate damage and get a debuff that increases the damage you take by 50%. The next major mechanic happens at 60 HP lines or below. It is the exact same as the 130 HP line mechanic. You need to complete the stagger check, but do not use abilities on the purple shield, otherwise you will die. At this point, the sidereal meter shall be filled up, so you can use the wave sidereal to finish off the stagger check if you like. The next major mechanic cap is at 50 HP lines or below. The boss will show a roulette on the ground. After a moment, the roulette will spin rapidly, then stop. Once it stops spinning, you need to quickly go to the spot that matches the card above your head. This will happen 3 times in total. The card above your head may change each time. If you go to the incorrect spot, you will gain meter and take moderate damage. The icons on a roulette that have lines going across will not be the correct spot for you, even if it shares the same icon. If the card above your head has lines, then you will go to that spot that has lines in addition to the icon that matches your card. During my testing of this raid, I never got a card above my head that had lines on it. The last major mechanic cap is at 30 HP lines or below. This is the same as the 110 HP line mechanic. 4 clones will spawn. Start from the top left and rotate clockwise. If any clones have stars around it, that means it will be fingers. If it shows small hearts around it, that means it will be a heart. If 2 or more clones have stars around it, look at the clone that showed hearts. If 2 or more clones have small hearts around it, go to the clone that showed stars. If you do gate 1 on item level, or a bit over item level, there is a good chance you may experience the dice attack. The boss will move to the middle and throw a dice on the ground. During my testing of gate 1, the dice thrown on the ground will always match your card. In addition, the game will spawn 3 NPCs at the bottom of the map. This is intended to teach you how this attack will work in a group setting. The boss will momentarily shoot out 4 cards in total, with a few seconds between each card. Since the dice will always match the card above your head, the first card that comes from the boss will always be your card. You will collect it. The second card will always be the teammate that shares the same color of the card above your head. You will guide this second card to that teammate. The last 2 cards will be the opposite color of the card above your head, and you need to guide those last 2 cards to the other 2 teammates. This will free them and end the attack. If you guide the wrong card to the teammate, or collect the wrong card yourself by mistake, you will take considerable damage and gain meter. In Gate 2, you can die by getting knocked off the map, but you will not have to worry about that until after the first mechanic. The first major mechanic happens at 125 HP lines or below. Your camera will zoom out and the boss will bombard the map with a bunch of bombs while moving to the other side of the map. Best practice is to go to the other side of the map so that when he lands, you can immediately deal damage to him. Just be sure to avoid the bombs as they will increase your meter and deal damage. In addition, Giant Saydon will appear. You cannot deal damage to him, but he will periodically perform attacks that are designed to knock you off the map. Those attacks will be noted as yellow telegraphs. The small boss cannot knock you off the map even if he is showing a yellow telegraphed attack. Giant Saydon may also perform an attack that can fear you for a few seconds. The tell is when there are flashing lights on the screen. You need to look away from him to avoid getting feared. The next major mechanic happens at 110 HP lines or below. You will get a blue or red icon above your head. All you need to do is go to the red or blue icon on the map. There may be multiple red or multiple blue circles. Simply pick one that matches the color above your head and stand in it until the boss reappears. This will complete the mechanic. The next major mechanic happens at 95 HP lines or below. 7 cards will appear on the map and you will get a target icon above your head. The goal of this mechanic is to find the right card. The boss is hiding underneath one of these cards. The target icon above your head means Giant Saydon will smash the ground with his hammer wherever you are standing in a few moments. This smash can flip over cards, and he will only do 3 smashes in total. You will need to find the card of the boss himself. The rest of them will be whites. If you do not find the boss after 3 attempts, it will be a raid wipe. Start off by standing on the second card from the left or right side. It does not matter what side you start with. When the boss shows an animation that he is about to smash his hammer, move a bit away. This smash is a big AoE, so if you are not careful it can knock you off the map depending on where you're standing. In addition, because the smash is a big AoE, it can flip up to 3 cards in total. By process of elimination, if you flip over 3 cards on the left, then 3 cards on the right, and none of them show the boss underneath the card, that means the correct card is in the middle. If you start from the left side and don't see the boss, go to the right side. Once you find the boss, he will be staggered on the ground for quite a long time, allowing you to dish out a few abilities. At this point, the side reel shall be up. You should use the Nineveh side reel here to deal a good amount of damage. The next major mechanic cap is at 80 HP lines or below. The boss will teleport you to a separate room. Your character will be holding a hammer, and you will only have access to the first ability on your action bar, which is a hammer smash, and your space bar to dodge. There will be a timer on the top left, which indicates how long you have to complete this mechanic. You will see an object in the middle, and you will need to kill it by auto-attacking with the hammer or using the first ability on your action bar. Once you kill it, you will be able to see the entire map. You will see an icon under your feet. It will either be yellow, green, or red. You will also see mobs on the map that have a green, yellow, or red icon. You need to kill the mob that matches your color 3 times in total. Every time you kill a mob that matches your color, it will respawn in a separate location. Once you kill 3 of your same color, you need to wait around until your color icon is shown on the map. This will be your escape route to finish the mechanic. However, during this mechanic, clowns will spawn on the map and move to the other side. This will be noted by a red telegraph. You should avoid these clowns at all costs. If you get hit by them, it will require you to start over again with killing 3 more mobs that match your color. I advise being patient with this mechanic since you have a lot of time to complete it. If you do not kill 3 mobs that match your color and go to the icon on the map that matches your color, before the timer runs out, it will be a wipe. The next major mechanic cap is at 55 HP lines or below. The boss will teleport to the middle and you will see small stars rotating around him. This will happen 3 times in total. The stars may rotate left, left, right, left, etc. This indicates what direction you need to go to and you will need to memorize it. Start off by standing behind the boss because the first safe spot will always be behind him. A pizza telegraph will be shown and the rest of the safe spots will be the direction that the stars rotated. If you do not go to the correct spot, you will gain a ton of meter and take moderate damage. This is the first iteration of Velganos. That's what we call this kind of mechanic, and it not only exists in this raid but also future raids. If you are having trouble with this, you can use the Anana side reel to reduce gauge and prevent heavy damage. You should also stand close to the boss when you are rotating, as there is less distance to cover when going to the next safe spot. The last major mechanic cap is at 25 HP lines or below. This is the exact same as the 95 HP line mechanic. Start off by standing on the second card from the left or right side. When Giant Saydon starts his animation, move out of the way. If you do not see the boss underneath one of the 3 cards that flipped, move to the opposite side and repeat the same thing again. In Gate 3, there will be some normal attacks that you may recognize from Gate 1 but are a little bit different. Periodically, the boss will spawn a ball on the ground that has a lingering AoE. Standing in this AoE will increase your meter. For the purpose of 2 mechanics, you will need to increase your meter. At the start of the fight, you want to work on dealing damage to the boss and increasing your meter until it is red. You want your meter to be red or close to red before the first major mechanic, which happens at 155 HP lines or below. When this mechanic occurs, the floor will look a lot different. The boss will always spawn a flame turret and a ball on the ground. The flame turret spits out fire that rotates. Standing in the fire will deal damage, but will also increase your meter. You need to fill up your meter entirely so that you can turn into a clown as soon as possible. Once you turn into a clown, move to the middle of the map. In a moment, there will be a red circle in the middle. You need to turn into a clown and move to the circle. When you step into the circle, you will have to complete a minigame that we call Mario. This specific minigame is always the same in terms of map layout. We call this Mario 1. Your goal is to kill 3 balls that match the color above your head and exit the minigame before the timer runs out. You will see a timer at the top left of your screen. You can only move left or right, and you have to use the arrow keys on your keyboard to move. There will only be 2 abilities on your action bar. The first one is a hammer smash, and the second one is a jump. You need to smash the correct balls with your hammer and jump over platforms that have an obvious gap. During Mario, you will see bombs that have a delayed attack, clowns that will try to attack you, and balls that move up and down. All 3 of these will deal massive damage. Your battle items are locked, so you cannot heal during this mechanic. If you kill a ball that does not match the color above your head, you will be stunned for a few seconds. If you do not kill 3 balls that match the color above your head and exit in time, you will die. The next major mechanic happens at 125 HP lines or below. You will be moved to the right side of the map, with the boss being on the opposite side. You will need to make it to the other side of the map and complete the stagger check. You will notice saws that are moving up and down. If you get hit by one of the saws, you will not die if you're at full health. But if you get hit by multiple, you will die. If you do not complete the stagger check on the boss in time, you will get a permanent debuff that decreases the damage you deal to the boss. The next major mechanic happens at 90 HP lines or below. The boss will move to the middle of the map. Try to get to the top of the map, or 12 o'clock, as soon as you can. A cutscene will occur. After the cutscene is finished, the boss will pull out his guns and start shooting at 6 o'clock, then rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. Move opposite of whatever direction he is rotating to avoid taking damage. At the same time, you will have an icon above your head. This means that fire puddles will drop under your feet. Try to keep them at the edge of the map. A series of yellow telegraphs will be shown that you need to avoid. After the second puddle drops on the ground, it is time to move to the middle. You will need to rotate around the boss, as he is going to move clockwise or counterclockwise while shooting. Afterwards, he will target you with a cone telegraph. You will need to point this telegraph to the giant bomb that spawned on the map so that the boss can kill it. You will repeat this 2 times in total. If you fail to do this, you will die. After destroying both bombs, a series of attacks will occur that are outside or inside safe. If you do not have red meter at this point, you should get hit by one or more of the telegraphs so that you can get red meter, as you will need it for the next major mechanic. After the yellow telegraphs, avoid standing in the middle. Stand somewhat close to the edge of the map. A large ball will spawn momentarily that will follow you, and yellow line telegraphs will spawn on the ground. All you need to do is avoid getting hit by the ball by moving around. After a few moments, the ball will disappear and you will complete the entire mechanic. If you get hit by the ball, you will die. The boss will teleport back to the middle once the mechanic is complete. The side reel meter should be filled up by now. You can decide to use the Nineveh side reel to deal considerable damage to the boss. The next major mechanic happens at 80 HP lines or below. This is the exact same as the 125 HP line mechanic, however, you need to avoid hooks instead of saws. If you come into contact with one of the hooks, you will be dragged to the edge of the map. If you get caught multiple times, you will most likely not complete the stagger check in time. The next major mechanic happens at 55 HP lines or below. It is the exact same as the 155 HP line mechanic, except the map layout is a lot different. This is what we call Mario 3. Your meter needs to be full so that you could turn into a clown, then go to the red circle that will appear in the middle of the map. The Mario 3 minigame is considered to be the hardest for many people, especially if you have high ping. The first jump in this minigame is the most important. If you get the timing wrong, you will die. The goal is the same as the first minigame. You need to kill 3 balls that match your color and exit before the timer runs out. You can practice Mario 3 and Mario 1 in Trixion before entering Gate 3 if you like. You can go to Trixion by using the song of Trixion that is in the sheet music interface. Interact with Beatrice and select special training. The last major mechanic happens at 0 HP lines. You will be teleported to a separate room and the boss will regain a lot of HP. You will notice that when this phase starts, 2 random tiles will turn white. Stepping on a white tile will increase your meter. The goal of this last phase is to form a bingo after the 3rd bomb placement. Throughout the fight, you will get a bomb icon above your head. When this bomb icon goes away, it will drop on the ground wherever you are standing. If you place a bomb on a tile, it will cause that tile to turn white, as well as the 4 closest tiles in a cross pattern. If you drop a bomb next to a white tile, it will cause that white tile to revert back to a clean tile. When 5 white tiles are in a single line or a diagonal, those 5 white tiles will turn into a red tile. This means you have a bingo. You have to form a bingo during the 3rd bomb, not the 2nd or 1st bomb. In addition, red arrow telegraphs will occur during this phase. These red arrow telegraphs mean that hammers will fly down momentarily. If you get hit by the hammer, you will die. 2 of them will always spawn and the attack is delayed. After the 3rd bomb placement, the boss will teleport to the top of the map and trigger a raid wipe attack. A fake stagger bar will appear below the boss. Do not pay attention to this. If you formed a bingo during the 3rd bomb placement, you will not die. Instead, the boss will be staggered after a few moments and take a lot of damage. If you know that you have formed a bingo, dish out as much damage as you can since he will be standing still. If you do not form a bingo during the third bomb placement, you can prevent a wipe by using the Anana Sadryu. The boss will repeat this pattern of spawning 3 bombs then teleporting to the top of the map until he is dead. There is a handy tool you can use for this mechanic, and it is on the Maxworld website. I will leave a link below. When using the tool, you need to select 2 white tiles that appeared at the start. Then the tool will tell you 3 possible locations to place the next bomb. Once you place the bomb on one of those tiles, go back to the website and click on that same tile so that you know where to go next. I do not recommend you rely on this often, but it is nice to use if you are learning. And that will be it for the Kakul Saydon solo raid guide. I will try my best to release solo mode guides of other raids as soon as I can. If you're a new or returning player, I highly suggest you complete the Legion raids in order starting from Volson. As stated at the start of the video, if you enjoyed this guide, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see everyone in the next video. Peace.